I hope you do not mind that I've put on my old sweater. It's just so comfortable. And now that we've gotten to know each other better, I think it'll be all right, yeah? My doctor says an apple a day will keep him away. As long as I don't cut my finger. Soon I will be able to add to these equations. It concerns my unified field theory. For many years I've been looking for one source of causality for all that happens in the universe. I've thought perhaps 100 times as much about this as I did about relativity. Most of my fellow scientists consider it a hopeless quest. There is a story circulating among scientific circles that Aristotle, Jesus, Sigmund Freud, and myself died and went to heaven. No, I'm telling it wrong. Jesus was already there. Anyway, there's a great controversy is raging as to the meaning of life. And a heavenly tribunal is called, and we are all brought before it. Aristotle says that the meaning of life can be found here. Jesus says the meaning of life can be found here. Freud said it's here. And I said it's all relative. It's all right. Yeah. Well, the meaning of life and the quality of life is a great concern, and science has much to say about them. But its development has become so costly that only the wealthiest of nations can participate. And so today, in 1946, two powerful countries seem eager and willing to dominate the future. Russia and our own United States. However, when science is controlled by government and political ideology rules the laboratory, then the fate of mankind hangs by a tiny thread. How I have prayed that science would not lead to a mutual destruction of our people. And the dead. The dead. Will the same science that destroyed them bring back the dead? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I did not invite you here tonight to lecture to you about the future of science. I simply thought that this would be a good time for, as Representative Rankin said, for people to get wise to me. And you see, if you spend an evening with me where I have the luxury of being the only one who talks, you do run the risk that I may talk too much. But I am not and cannot be just an unfeeling Luftmensch whose only concern is his precious reputation. No, I'm afraid what is important to a man like me is not what people think of him, but the quality of his thought and the dedication with which he pursues it. Many great scientists have influenced my thinking. Minkowski, Poincaré, Born. I will continue in that tradition. Theories exist to be proven or disproven, never to be abandoned. Of course, it is true that my thinking sometimes confuses people. I did that. I even wrote a limerick about that. I composed it while I was posing for a statue by a sculptor friend of mine, Jacob Epstein, in the early 30s. I had to remain completely motionless. It was very unpleasant. This was the result. 3 wonderful people named Stein. There's Gertrude and Epp and Ein. Goethe writes in blank verse, statues are verse, and nobody understands ein. Oh. Each month now, I get dozens of letters from Jewish refugees asking me to help find them or a member of the family a place in the academic community. Oh, so many letters. Occasionally I get a little carried away in my desire to help. Once I wrote 4 separate letters of recommendation on behalf of 4 different applicants, all for the same position at Harvard University. But I suppose it is better to help too much than not at all. There is a rumor that I may be offered the presidency of the soon-to-be-created State of Israel. This is a great honor, but it is a position for which I am totally unsuited. I'm a scientist who works with theories and equations, not a politician who deals with people and opinions. I am deeply committed to assisting in the cause of Israel in every way possible. And one of these ways is to never become its president. Perhaps you're wondering how a scientist such as myself becomes so involved in world politics. I wonder myself sometimes. But you see, as I've traveled about, I have found it impossible to close my eyes to injustice. It is everywhere. And so I speak out. I don't like to anger people, but sometimes I must. I remember the first time I became aware of my Jewishness and the troubles it later caused me. It was in Berlin when I was a young man that I first saw Jewish persecution. So many doors were closed, so much potential wasted. And yet Jews would not band together for a common good. I became committed to Zionism, mainly for the unifying and the educational effects that it could bring for Jews all over the world. I spoke at fundraising events, and I lent my name to the cause. And the Nazis came to power. I paid for these actions. It was in mid-1933 that I became a refugee. I left Germany forever. I took with me only my violin, small clothes, and this suitcase full of papers. Papers from the early days at the patent office, calculations on quantum mechanics, scientific articles of great importance, and other papers of no value whatsoever except to me. The Nazis then took over my house, claiming that it had been used as a storage center for arms and ammunition, and that I and other Jews were plotting to take over the government. They confiscated my bank account and all my personal property. They branded me a traitor and put a $5,000 price on my head. I never knew my head was so valuable. I still keep some of my scientific papers in the suitcase. I am I'm what you Americans call a chipmunk. No, that's not a chipmunk. That's not. It's the some kind of rodent. How do you say it? The rat pack, the packer rat. So it was that in 1933, Elsa, my second wife, and I came to Princeton. But I've made my home ever since. I joined the faculty as a member of the Institute of Advanced Studies. We were provided with this charming house, which Elsa immediately started to redecorate. She even handled my salary negotiations, as my original request was so low that the dean of the university congratulated me on my sense of humor. Establishing a regular routine was rather difficult due to my unfortunate notoriety. I became a sort of community landmark, like an ancient cathedral or a bird sanctuary. Even when I would just go out to my garden to pick flowers for Elsa, people had to stop by and have a look at me. Am I relativity himself? No. I'm Professor Dr. Albert Einstein. Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you too. Oh, well, hello. Where did you get all of those beautiful little curls? Huh? You wish to take a photograph of me? Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Oh, no, absolutely not. Elsa is not available for photographs this morning. Goodbye. Ruta, here you go. Bye-bye. Yes, this celebrity game is usually just a harmless nuisance, but it can be dangerous. The stories are created about me just to sell newspapers. Stories that are not even true. I have never even met any of these Hollywood picture moving stars that they say that I'm friends with. I am not a godless communist looking to overthrow the capitalist system. I do believe that we need some form of a world government to regulate the conduct of all nations. But I'm not advocating violent revolution. No, this you see, this would only be done to avoid another world war, which could end all human existence. Surely they must be prepared to make the same sacrifices for peace. It's a cause of peace that others ungrudgingly make for the cause of war. A free press is essential in a democracy, but there should be a responsibility to print the truth about a man, his work, and what he believes in. Life in this country is much to get used to. Take some money, for instance. Why is the 10-cent piece smaller than the 5-cent piece? If you only know, if you knew the problems this causes for me in crowded buses or in stores. Oh, gosh, sometimes I get so angry, I say the most terrible things. But in German, so people don't understand. Once the young people here are so full of energy and curiosity. I don't work directly with students here, but I do come in contact with them. You see, Princeton has a great many ice cream parlors. I've even found one with 28 flavors. Good afternoon. Today, I think I will have strawberry. Excuse me, young lady, is this seat taken? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am Dr. Einstein. You're right. I'm happy to meet you too. Yeah, Yeah. I am on the faculty here at the Institute of Advanced Studies. You wish I could help you with your homework? Well, it would be a pleasure, but first I must tell you that I am what you call in America a high school dropout. Young lady, next time you come here, try the strawberry. It's delicious, I think. Well, it didn't take long for me to establish a reputation around the campus as an unusual character. Yes, Princeton University. Yes. Could I please have Dean Eisenhardt in the graduate school? What? He'll be in class for the next 3 hours? Oh. Well, then perhaps you could help me. Can you give me Dr. Einstein's address? Yes, I know that is confidential, but you see, my problem is, this is Dr. Einstein. Yes, I was walking across campus, and I'm afraid I've forgotten where I live. 112 Mercer Street. Thank you very much. Well, these problems were not serious. But there were other difficulties. In physics, I was then, and am still now, taking a position directly opposite of my colleagues. They have begun to move further and further away from causality, towards a belief that the universe is accidental, governed only by the laws of chance. It was claimed, for instance, that in experiments with radiation, an electron, of its own accord, an electron actually chooses when and where to leap from its orbit. Chooses! And they say there is no way to predict this. 9, that